Hey everybody, Ben here from the Bonehead podcast, and welcome to Blood Bowl Dream Team's Skaven. So we're looking at every team in Blood Bowl right now, and we're putting together basically some optimal builds, some roadmaps for your league teams. Now we've done a couple of these so far, but we had so much feedback about Skaven that I've bumped it up in the schedule and just to get it out because, well, it doesn't take much for me to be convinced to make some content on what is probably my favourite team of all time. I love Skaven. I play most teams as if they were Skaven, and I do alright doing it, which is pretty fun. So, like I said, this is a look at some optimal points in your team's development. Now, this is just my opinion. There are many ways to build a team. It's your team. Take what skills you want, on which players you want, at whatever point you want. But this is me mapping out where I would expect a Skaven team to be at 1250, at 1500, at 1750. So if you are planning on taking a Skaven team to a league, if you are planning on playing against Skaven in your league, this video will kind of break down, like I said, a roadmap of where that team is likely to be and at what point in its journey. What skills to put on what players and when is going to be a big part of this. And when you're planning out your league team, because we've got better ability now in Blood Bowl 2020 to do that, this should give you an idea of what your team's going to look like in the future. So regardless of how you start your team out with Skaven, this is where I think you should be around about the 1250 mark. Now, there is two massively different lines of thought when it comes to Skaven teams. This one has got the Rat Ogre. At the end, we're going to look at an alternative version with no Rat Ogre at all. Okay, Skaven tend to lack most of survivability and bash, so I do like adding a Rat Ogre if you can as the game goes on. The good thing about Skaven, you're going to score loads of touchdowns, a load of SPPs, and your players are going to develop. The bad thing is that your players fall apart if they are looked at badly by your opponent. So you're going to lose some cash replacing players. So if we have a look at this roster now, it's only got 11 players on there. I have essentially budgeted in for you to lose at least one lineman. Okay? Now, whether you start out with a Rat Ogre or not, by the 1250 mark, I would like to have a Rat Ogre, 2 blitzers, 1 thrower, 4 gutter runners and 3 linemen. It's only 11 players. Now, if you can afford 12 players, fantastic. I always end up replacing mine quite a lot and end up sticking around about 11. The problem is if you get 11 players and you suffer a lineman loss, if you buy one, you're still at 11 players. So it kind of pays sometimes to save that cash, take a journeyman, put him on the line ready to die, and you kind of net your earnings. You kind of either at 11 players with Skaven or 13, because being at 12 isn't a lot of good to you. Now by 1250 you have spent your cash acquiring 3 rerolls and an apothecary. That is your priority. Now most of my league builds look at 3 rerolls first and buying that apothecary straight away. After game 1 you should have enough cash to buy that apothecary. Get it immediately. The reason we do it that way around is because the apothecary is going to cost 50k to take, where your team reroll is going to cost 100. The apothecary is going to be really useful for 1, kind of giving you that 12th player anyway, but 2, just keeping those positionals alive. The positionals themselves aren't that expensive and you can easily afford to replace them. But when you're building up that SPP, this team starts to get really juicy really fast, and you really want to keep those guys alive. So by this point, you've got the 2 blitzers, you've got the thrower, you've got 4 gutter runners now, you've got linemen to fill out the numbers, and you've got that Rat Ogre. Now, I am happy with a Rat Ogre build or not a Rat Ogre build, but for this one, your Rat Ogre is going to be that muscle, okay? That Rat Ogre going on the line is probably going to save you the life of at least one Skaven lineman every game, and it should put you in a reasonable position to take away some of their players as well. So 2 blitzers, 1 with guard, 1 with tackle. Okay, the whole point of these blitzers is that they are your only strength access, but they're also your only combat access until the Rat Ogre starts getting on board. Now your blitzers are going to get some SPP. They're going to get a couple of incidental touchdowns, maybe an incidental casualty. That's fantastic. One of those guys playing guard is going to be so massively important for you. It's the only way to get guard on this team without just saving up forever with SPP. Now, with my Skaven teams, my guard guy tends to die every time I get guard. I get guard, I play him, he dies. I get another guy, he gets guard, he dies too. So be very careful with the guard piece. He will want to be stuck next to opponents. And if you don't maximise that guard block, he's going to get blocked right back. Now, the other blitzer is a prime candidate for tackle. Now, tackle will depend on your league's meta, okay? If you've got no dodge people, probably don't worry about tackle. But if you do, then tackle is going to be really important for you to have that one safety in the backfield. Now, strength 3 with these guys, with a guard piece and 4 movement 9 guys is going to mean that you will always be able to get basically a 2-die block on whoever's in your backfield, okay? That's going to be great defense, and that's the strength of Skaven. Let them wander up, you concert a fantastic pow down, and then you sneak away and scurry off for another touchdown. So one blitzer getting guard early on is fantastic. It will make you feel stronger. Tackle is going to help you. If you don't have a tackle heavy environment, maybe take Mighty Blow instead. Now, thrower, hear me out here. You can take leader and get your 4th reroll. When it comes to Skaven throwers, there's a couple of different great skills. Leader is fantastic, but you cannot buy skills. You can only buy rerolls. You're going to get that cash. Don't worry about it. You've got 3 rerolls already. You can buy your 4th. It's only 100k. You can also take accurate. Now, having a 1+3 square pass and a 2+6 square pass is awesome. Do not get me wrong. It's a fantastic way to run, and it's a really exciting way to do things as well. But on the ball is just such a useful skill. That means that your thrower is going to start every offensive drive basically at movement 10. You just get 3 free squares, okay? 3 free squares. He's going to start with the ball, next to the ball every single time. And that just means you are making that pass without making that pass, okay? You can have a 2+ quick pass, absolutely. But if you are already 3 squares closer to the ball, you don't need to pass it. You're 3 squares faster. You will be able to get that ball and with 7 squares of movement basically deliver it by hand to any square on your side of the pitch. So if you're up for a fast offense, or even just to maximize the opportunity for the thrower to get to the ball quickly and then move it on, OTB is a fantastic skill. I do like accurate. I do like leader for a tactical way to build your team, but OTB is just really useful to get your guy there faster. And occasionally, it is going to be occasionally, but sometimes your opponent's going to make a pass, and it's going to allow that thrower to just turn into a strength 3 movement 10 piece. Yeah, sure, dodging's not going to be great, but that thrower being able to move where you need him to be with one little on-the-ball pass block, basically, I'm not going to say he's going to disrupt the pass. What he is going to do is allow you to reposition a strength 3 movement 7 piece. That's going to be massive as well. Great on defense, a really understated defensive skill. And then we've got the gutter runners. So gutter runners are fantastic. You get 4 of them, which means you can go 1, 2 or 3 different routes and still have a spare one. So how I've mapped out the team, it's really boring. I'm really sorry, but 2 of them taking block makes them great all-rounders. Blodge, movement 9, edge 2+, they're hard to take down, and if you need to get out of somewhere, they are going to be in a really good spot to do it. Now, those are your 2 general purpose gutter runners. They're going to be great for scoring, and they're going to be very useful on defense as well. Not as useful on defense as this one here. So your 3rd gutter runner gets Wrestle. Now, he's going to be the ball hawk, okay? You've got 2 general purpose. They can score, and they can make good blocks. But Wrestle, 2-die up Wrestle, is again understated. And we've got a theory Thursday about that. I'd recommend you go watch it, because Wrestle gutter runners, absolutely fantastic. Throwing those 2 dice and only double sculling failure is fantastic, okay? It gives you, what, a 25% chance of just blowing your opponent up every single time. And they're pretty resilient. They're armor 8+, like if it goes, you're going to be fine, okay? It's a glorious way to die for a Skaven. So Wrestle, he becomes your ball hawk. Then you've got the 1-turn touchdown element as well. Now, you don't have to do this. You don't have to do this. And depending on your friendship group, you may not want to do this. But it's just so fun. Again, we've got another theory Thursday on 1-turn touchdown with Skaven. And sprint is a pretty tasty way to do this. Can't boost your movement anymore. Movement 9 is as fast as you can get. So that guy taking sprint means he gets 12 squares of movement. Which means you need 1 successful chain block to push him 1 square up. And then it's just 3 2+s for a touchdown. That is going to save you. Last turn touchdown with a 1-turn touchdown play from Skaven out of nowhere is going to be awesome on turn 8. Imagine that. You score, you let them score, and then you score again, and they're going up into the next game, into the next half 2-1. It's just awesome. Totally recommend it. So that's where I would want my Skaven to be, about 1245, 1250. then things get really good. Okay, so 1500 now, you've got the Rat Ogre, you've got those 2 blitzers, you've got that thrower, you've got those 4 gutter runners. We've added an extra lineman. Okay, we had a couple of games where we weren't a lineman out, and we bought ourselves another one. What a little treat. So now we've got 12 players on this team. We've got a bench, we still got 3 rerolls, we've still got that apothecary, and every other one of our players has just got better. So we've had the Rat Ogre now long enough for it to get casualties. Rat Ogre scoring a touchdown, not going to be that often, okay? So it's going to be doing its thing mostly through random MVP or D3 MVP, depending on how your league runs, and just smashing face. Now, this is going to be your biggest decision here as a Skaven player. You can build your Rat Ogre as a blitzer or as a blocker. If you want him to be a blocker, that means he's going to go on the line, he's going to be supported by linemen, and he is just going to stay in the fight and fight. Stay in the fray and fight. So Juggernaut will allow him to be your blitzer. Now, Animal Savagery is going to be quite dangerous on your Skaven team, so you are going to need to put him next to linemen. Then again, you could just not put him next to linemen, and it will be kind of like a worse wild animal. It's definitely fine. Now, blitzing with the Rat Ogre on a 2+ is awesome. Alright, this guy's strength 5. He's going to be doing 2-die to 3-die blocks all of the time. He's got frenzy, and Jugs is going to make sure that he stays up and stays blocking around. Okay, so Jugs making your Rat Ogre a blitzer, brilliant fun. Alternatively now, we do have a different way to do things. And man, Brawler, I really like it. I really like it. Now, getting a Rat Ogre to 6 SPP is a lot different than saving up for 12 SPP to get block. Technically, block is the right thing to do, and if you've got all the patience in the world, just do it. I don't, okay? We're a Skaven coach. These players are not here for the long time. They're here for a good time, and Juggernaut to make him your primary blitzer, or Brawler to stick him on the line and just keep fighting, keep fighting, keep fighting, is going to be awesome. Up to you which way you want to take it. Blitzer, the guy with guard gets Mighty Blow because he's going to be in the fray all of the time as well. And then the other blitzer with tackle is going to slowly develop up. Realistically though, either one of those getting Mighty Blow is going to be really good. Tackle is going to be very useful as your safety piece, and guard is going to be in the fray. But giving him Mighty Blow also allows him to be an offensive piece as well. Ultimately, those guys are going to be also in the fray. So at this point, you've got 3 decent combat pieces. You've got 2 movement 7 defenders and a really fast piece with the Rat Ogre with frenzy as well. So you've got 3 good combat pieces now. We're starting to get that removal suite building. Thrower has yet to gain another skill because we're saving SPP with this guy. And the gutter runners, though, this is where it gets fun. We've got 2 gutter runners who we built to be general purpose. They've got block. Then you save up SPP, in my opinion, and take 2 heads. Now, this may be because Hackflem's awesome, but Hackflem's awesome because he's got 2 heads. Now you've got 2 movement 9 edge 2+ pieces that are dodging around at edge 1+ with a reroll. Okay, into the open it's 1++, into 1 tackle zone it's 2++, into 2 tackle zones it's 3++. Okay, there is a 1 in 9 chance of failing him walking in to 2 tackle zones. That is fantastic. You will be able to get out of trouble, and you'll be able to sneak in there and get a good play on the ball when you need to. Edge 2+ with 2 tackle zones is a 4+ pickup. With the 2 head skill, it's a 3+ dodge in. It's fantastic. It just starts being unstoppable. But the great thing here is because he's a blodger, because they're both blodgers at this point, those 2 heads can be used to get them exactly where you need them to make the best blocks possible. And when your team starts being agile enough for you to surgically strike with your blocks and make the most of, like, because of the positioning, your opponent can leave stuff in place where you don't have profitable blocks. But then with a couple of 1+, 2+ dodges, if you can start turning those no-skilled 1 dice into no-skilled 2 die blocks, you're going to actually start turning the tables when it comes to attrition. And that can be massive for a Skaven team, because if the Skaven team wins the attrition battle, they've won agility. They won agility at the point at which you bought the box. So deleting players is fantastic. So that's why their general purpose thing's great. If you need to score, you give it to that guy. He's 1+ dodging away for greatness. Now, the other guy here, the Ballhawk, he's gone from Wrestle up to Dauntless. Now, Dauntless and Horns don't work the way they used to, which is a shame. So Dauntless is actually a better option. The whole plan here with this gutter is that he wanders into where you need him to be. Okay, you use some clever blocks to open an angle on the ball carrier, and then you go in there and you roll a 2 or a 3 on a dice, and then you take a 1 die block. Push will push him out of the cage and into your players. Pow will knock him down. Pow Star should knock him down, and that both down wrestles him and the ball pops out. That is a lot of great stuff, and because you can use multiple rerolls in a turn, you can afford to take him and do some horrible dodges to get him in there. You can re-roll Dauntless, and then you can re-roll the block as well, so you are pretty certain to be able to get a 50% chance to pop out that ball. Now as we develop him up, he's going to get strip ball, and that 50% chance basically goes, if you can get Dauntless working, all the flipping way up to what, like a 2+ essentially on the dice to pop that ball out. And that's the point at which you start losing friends. But just remind you those guys about dwarf players and you'll be fine. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it at all. And linemen. So by this point you've probably had a couple of linemen that has leveled up and not died. Kick. Take kick. Kick is fantastic. When it comes to Skaven, you can kick the ball close and then you can just create an opening and steal the ball, or you can kick it back and they're going to have to divide their team, which actually, because you've got a Rat Ogre and 2 blitzers, you've got a good chance at actually taking 8 of your players against 4, 5, 6 of theirs and deleting a couple of their players. Then they come to you and you're playing 11 on 8, and then you're just going to have a fantastic time. At this point we've still got 3 rerolls and 1 apothecary, so the team there isn't developing quite so much, but you can start to see that each of these players starts to build its own role. We've got a Rat Ogre who's there to fight. We've got 1 support blitzer with guard and a 2nd with tackle just to be your Johnny on the spot. OTB on the thrower because he is there to just get that ball out, and you've got 2 general purpose good agility gutters, 1 wrestle dauntless guy who's going to go after the ball and succeed, and then you're starting to build this sprint sidestep 1 turn touchdown piece as well. But remember, sprint sidestep's fantastic. He's going to be very useful on offense as well. Now we're all the way to 1750 and your team is starting to absolutely boil up. So 3 rerolls is probably still about right. You can afford to take your 4th reroll when you're good and ready. I do like to do that. I mean, 4 rerolls is good, but it depends, and I guess my angle here is it depends on how many of your players you end up losing. If you can afford to take that 4th reroll, then absolutely do it. Let me just double check the spreadsheet, make sure I got that right. We haven't taken our 4th reroll by now. Anyway, the Rat Ogre at this point is going to be sitting at his 2nd skill potentially. So we talked about using it as a blitzer. Juggernaut will team up brilliantly with Break Tackle. Break Tackle is not as good as it used to be, but now it gives +2 to the dodge if you're strength 5. Rat Ogres are Ag 4+. That means he is breaking into the open on a 2+. That is fantastic. So a 2+ to get him out of a tackle zone, to move him 6 squares into somewhere else and then throw essentially 2 blocks. It's fantastic to be able to move that Rat Ogre around. Now alternatively, like we said, if we want to build him up to be a big guy blocker, then Brawler will tangle very well with Guard, because he's going to be in the thick of it, running circles around with frenzy blocks. That Guard is going to mean that actually you can open up with some lineman blocks instead. Lineman blocking with 2 dice is a fantastic move. Blocking with 1 dice is a terrible move. It's a big swing when it comes to Skaven. Now blitzer wise, we've both got Mighty Blow on them, because those are going to be our removal suite. These 3 players here, that Rat Ogre and both those blitzers, are going to be the ones where you take 1 or 2 good blocks per turn. That's all you're going to get with Skaven. If you can find a way to pile more blocks on, then do it, but it's not going to happen very often, so having Mighty Blow to maximize that is the best. Now when it comes to Blitzer 2 here, the one we took tackle on, taking and saving up for horns is going to be awesome. Okay, this guy's now a strength 4 on the blitz. That means he is going to be a great defender when it comes to using tackle. He's going to be able to solo 2 dice most players, and with tackle there, it's going to be able to be really effective. But also it means that with concert with the blitzer, he's going to be able to horns block a strength 4 player at 2 dice as well. So I'm looking at you, Griff. Okay, this blitzer here is designed to destroy you, and Hack Phlegm as well. So those guys can develop themselves. It's going to be slower with the blitzers because the gutter runners are going to be scoring those touchdowns. And to help them do that, we have finally gone and spent some of our SPP with our thrower and picked up Accurate. Now, the thrower got to OTB quite quickly because it's only 2 touchdowns. Now, saving up for another 3 touchdowns to get Accurate is going to take you much longer. And it's not because the thrower is not good. It's because OTB is going to facilitate him in sharing that ball out to your other players. So you can race that thrower up and its development absolutely all you like, but if you're using the most of on the ball, he's going to be collecting it and distributing it faster, which means that these guys are going to be scoring the touchdowns and potentially these guys. That's why they're getting the SPP and the thrower isn't. Accurate will make that much better, and OTB and Accurate, fantastic combo here. Okay, that means that on the ball, when you're receiving, you've got 10 squares of movement, followed by a 3 square 1++ pass and a 6 square 2++ pass. That's 16 squares of movement with the ball, 3++ pickup, and then a 1++ or 2++ pass. I'm not saying it's automatic. It is not bad though, right? Okay, so those combo really, really well, and just allow that thrower to be the facilitator of your offense. He's playing quarterback, and I love him for it. So gutter runners, we've got the block 2 heads guys. They're saving up SPP as well. Doesn't add to your TV, and then you can kind of take something fancy with it if you want. This gutter runner here has now taken Wrestle Dauntless and Strip Ball. It's really obvious that that's what he's here to do. Okay, Dauntless is going to allow you to 1-die block. Wrestle's going to be able to drag somebody down with the ball no matter what skills they've got. And if you roll that push, that Strip Ball is going to pop the ball out anyway. So it's a fantastic combination. That gutter runner is going to be awesome at this point. All you need to do is open up a little gap for him to get in. Now, with the gutter runners here, the ones with block and 2 heads, you can potentially also build a second ball hawk if you want out of one of those. Now, chucking Strip Ball on there with 2 heads is going to make it easier for you to get in, but you don't have that Dauntless or Wrestle. So it is risky, but if you feel you need more of defensive turnover power, you can do that early on and you'll be fine with it. The other gutter runner, the sprint, sidestep, and then 2 heads just absolutely gives you that extra dodge ability. If you even at that point, if your opponent sets up for a 1-turn touchdown defense, it's going to be 1+ dodging. Okay, so you're running through 1 tackle zone, that's 2++ for the dodges there. So he's just going to not roll 2 ones in a row, and you've basically got a touchdown at this point. So I like this guy. It is a bit cheesy, but not as cheesy as movement 10 gutter runners. That was automatic. This guy is just going to be there to be your absolute clutch player. But with 2 heads and sprint and sidestep, he is going to be able to get wherever you want him to be, which is also going to be a really useful ball retriever on defense. And your lineman, we've looked at this. You've got a guy with kick because it helps you position your team brilliantly. Taking wrestle or block on lineman is great. Okay, block is going to help him stay alive, but I do like wrestle. Movement 7 gives you it gives you massive range when it comes to the pitch. So being able to both down a player is fantastic. And the other thing here, which is really important, is that most of your opponent's players that are going to be with block or have that blocking advantage are going to be much slower than your lineman. So a dwarf blocker, for example, is going to take a 2-die block. If you both down skulls and you take the wrestle, it's not a turnover, but he's going to get up and move 1 square. You're going to get up and move 4. So you have a massive advantage here when it comes to the linemen. They are fast. We've also taken our 5th lineman here, which puts us at 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 players. And that apothecary. Taking the apothecary early on means that we get to save up and take all of this pretty safely without having to maximize our team value. Now, Skaven will bloat, but you can save up SPP. You can save up SPP and you don't have to overcommit. You don't have to race to these skills. And that is, I guess, the last thing I'm going to say before we go to the no Rat Ogre build, is you don't need to take those skills. If you end up at 7 SPP, take your first skill. But when you end up at 11, if you're not sure what second skill to take, then don't take it. Okay, it's not that your opponent's inducements are going to be massive against you. It's just that you don't want to give away that EV. And if you're looking at actually this player here, blocking 2 heads, if one of these guys is sitting at 13 SPP, you can take another skill, but you don't have to. Okay, it can be great fun. It might be worth just taking a speculative random for the lols at this point. But all you're going to be doing then is adding team value to you that is subpar, potentially. This is about being optimal. This is about actually keeping your TV as low as possible while building positionals that have roles. And if you look here, we've got 3 combat pieces, 3 very good blitzers, or you've got that Rat Ogre built to be your brawler on the line. You're just in a really good combat spot. You will have to choose and be very careful with allocating them, but if you do it right, it's just unstoppable. Now, very quickly, we'll look at the no Rat Ogre version. So 1245 with no Rat Ogre. What have we got? 2 blitzers, thrower, gutter, 5 linemen there. So that boosts you up to 12 players. You can afford that extra reroll and the apothecary now. So you're not changing up the main tactic of these players, okay? Your blitzers are going to be your removal. 1 takes guard, 1 takes tackle. If you don't want to take tackle because you're in a low dodge environment, you can take mighty blow, but Whatever you're playing at 1250 is going to have some dodge pieces now, so that tackle is going to be really useful. OTB on the thrower to do its thrower things, 2 gutters with block, 1 gutter with wrestle, 1 with sprint. You're building them the same way. 2 mid-range, 1 for offense, 1 for defense. They play the roles brilliantly. You've got that bench now with linemen, and that extra team reroll is going to allow you to just take blocks that aren't going to be as good for you and get them right. So when your blitzers have to punch things, and they have to punch things, you're going to have the extra ammo there in your pocket to take that 2-die block to a 4-die block without having strength 5 and frenzy. As you move up to 1500, the lack of the Rat Ogre means that you have to focus on developing your blitzers. Save the SPP if you don't have to spend it across your team as quickly as you get it. We've got 4 rerolls, you've got the Apothecary, we've taken a 6th lineman now to give you 13 people. That Rat Ogre is going to block players off the pitch, and it's going to soak up some hits as well. No Rat Ogre, no soaking up hits, and less removal, which means you're going to need a bigger bench. So we've got 13 players on the field now. Blitzer, guard tackle, other one tackle, mighty blow. So we're taking double tackle in this situation because you are going to need that flexibility, because your vulnerability here is going to be you can't go toe-to-toe with your opponent anymore. Alright, we've got a Rat Ogre. Actually, there's going to be a lot of teams that are mid-range that we can fight with. That is not the case if you do not take a Rat Ogre. Those blitzers have to play the roles of safeties. They need to sweep and they need to destroy when they can. OTB and accurate comes sooner on this build. Again, the thrower is there to distribute the ball. We still got 2 general purpose guys with 2 heads and block. Wrestle Dauntless stays the same, sprint sidestep stay the same, kick and wrestle stay the same. So the team is just compensating for that Rat Ogre by accepting the fact that more guys are going to die, and you are going to have to play a little bit of a wider defensive net. So that's why tackle takes on more importance here. But the strength of having no Rat Ogre is that it does save you, I don't know, 180 TV by this point, which means extra skills for your players. 4 rerolls, that Apothecary, we've got 5 linemen here because we've lost one, I guess, but you're still sitting at around about 13 players. Now the blitzers start to become your removal here. So mighty blow on both blitzers and horns on the other one. He's going to be your primary blitzer. He's going to be the support piece. Now this guy with guard is going to make that any one of these players basically gets good blocks in, and this horns guy means he's got the best opportunity possible to go toe to toe. Now you're going to have to save up for a double, but that's just fine. You can do it, and it's going to be in your own time. OTB, accurate, and cannoneer on the thrower. You can sub that out for leader, but when you've got 4 rerolls, you're probably not going to need it. What cannoneer allows you to do is combo up with OTB, and if you think about it, you're 1+, 2+, quick passing, and then what would that be? 2+, 3+, 4+, and then 3+, 4+, for long and long bomb. That means that they have no way basically of shutting down your throw game, and it means that whatever happens, you will have a stretch play available. It's a fun way to play it, it's a risky way to play it, but when it comes to the thrower, block is the other option, and he becomes a kind of semi-third blitzer or your reserve ball carrier. That is the other way of going when it comes to the thrower. Now, gutter runner here, block 2 heads, sure feet means that actually you're 1+ dodging everywhere, and you've got that extra reroll personally for that sure feet roll. The ball hawk, wrestle dauntless, strip ball, and then leap. Hear me out. Actually, just go watch the Theory Thursday on Leap. Leap is better than you think. When it comes to having rerolls in the bank, which you will do with this team, that Leap Wrestle Dauntless dude is going to be able to do more things. It's basically what? Looking at diving into 3 tackle zones with a leap, that's -2, so that's a 4+. So you can jump into the side of a cage with a 75% success rate when it comes to adding that team reroll. And because you get mutations, you can actually just save up and take extra long legs as well. Then you're 3+ with a reroll into a 3 tackle zone cage at this point. Then you dauntless, then you wrestle strip ball, that ball comes out. It becomes almost unstoppable. The other gutter runner here, sprint sidestep 2 heads, just like before. They do the same thing. These guys are there to do everything you want them to do. Sure feet is a very replaceable skill here for those gutters. It can be leap, it can be pro, it can be sidestep. I like sure feet because it just gives you that extra spread, and when it comes to doing the things you need to do, if they've got to be somewhere, you get that opportunity to be there safely. Sprint sidestep 2 heads for the 1-turn touchdown guy, absolutely, and the same rules apply when it comes to the lineman on this team. Kick, wrestle, block. You will not win the line of scrimmage with this team. You have to farm out these linemen to die. Then you've got 2 blitzers who can combo up with your other players to make surgical strikes. Then you've got a great thrower and 4 fantastic, I've said fantastic a lot, but it's true, gutter runners who play their individual roles but they're still just amazing gutter runners, okay? So if you're like, oh, my Bullhawk's out, don't worry, you can still probably take the ball out with a standard gutter runner, with a reroll and a cheeky dodge and a 2+, with a 2+ agility and then a 2 die up block. You're still going to be able to Skaven things. But what this does is it just gets to build a roster here of pure star players. And that is why Skaven are so exciting, is because you could take any one of these guys as a star player and you'd see them almost as frequently as Hackblem. And that's pretty cool. Anyway, guys, thank you ever so much for watching. Sorry this video is a little bit longer than the others, but it's Skaven. How can I not ramble? It's just a fantastic team. Whatever team you're playing at the moment, put it down. Go buy Skaven. You'll love it. Anyway, I'm going to disappear. Thank you so much for watching. Happy blocking. Thanks very much for watching. We really appreciate your support. If you want to support the show even further, please like and subscribe. It really helps us out. Or come and join us in our Patreon, link below, where you get early access to our content and monthly competitions. See you later.